Brett, I'm going to start with you because, as we mentioned, this was not the fight card that was originally scheduled by the UFC. Khamzat Chimaev misses weight on Friday. There's a complete shuffle of the top three bouts on this card. And we got some better matchups in the eyes of many people, but did the fans get exactly what they deserved?
You know, I think at the end of the day, they probably got a better main event than they were scheduled for. I mean, after watching what Khamzat Chimaev did to Kevin Holland, who is a young, in his prime, big guy for welterweight. This was at 180 pounds. He looked every bit 180 pounds. I think it would have been a pretty ugly night for Nate Diaz had that fight gone through. So I think from a historical perspective, it was much better to see him fight Tony Ferguson. It was a fight that we could appreciate a little bit more. Yeah. But I think it showed that the UFC probably got these matchups wrong to begin with, because those would have been some lopsided fights tonight, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, when you look at it, and I mean, but they got what they deserved. Tony and Nate got what they deserved, okay. And that was each other to fight in the main event, because they're both veterans of the game. And the great R.J. Clifford always says, the young eat the old. And I would have hated to see Khamzat do what he could have done to Nate tonight, because Nate didn't look great tonight. But I tell you what, they got what they deserved, and Nate's going to go out on his own terms, and you got to respect that.
Much more on Nate's history in the UFC and when we will see him again in some capacity. But let's show you what happened in the main event. Again, Nate Diaz came in having lost 2 straight fights. Tony Ferguson had lost 4 straight fights. You just don't see guys in the main event, Brett, coming in on multiple losses. Considering the fact of who they are, we get it, but still, for a main event, you don't see 2 guys like that going at it.
You know, I've been covering this sport for 12, 13 years now. Nate Diaz and Tony Ferguson are 2 of the most biggest badasses I have ever covered. So they still get to have this main event, and I don't think it's a bad thing that it happened. But yeah, it's a weird situation, but it's okay because of everything that these guys have done. But, you know, then it resulted in a main event that I think both me and Dean, you know, when we're sitting up here talking, saying, like, that wasn't what we're used to seeing in the main event quality of UFC.
It's not what we're used to seeing in the main event quality, and it's also what we're not used to seeing of those guys.
Okay.
So, I mean, even those guys looked the shell of themselves. I mean, they got a little sloppy at times, and they both were kind of playing a little bit. In fact, like, I thought maybe they had too much respect for each other. Because normally when they don't have respect for their opponents, they really go after them. And we saw they had a lot of respect for each other, and I felt like, not that we got robbed of a good fight, because it was still fun, but it just wasn't characteristic of themselves.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.